wavy hair. Beach waves are so fun, loose, they give tons of volume, but you probably are gonna have to use a flat iron to do them. So let's learn today how to do that. Step number one, when you are doing any type of style with a hot tool in your hair, is going to be making sure your hair is fully brushed. And before anyone comments that you're supposed to brush your hair from the bottom up, that only applies to when your hair is tangly. If your hair is really not tangly and you're just making sure that there are no small tangles, you can absolutely brush from your scalp down. If you encounter any big tangly sections, then yeah, you should brush them out from the bottom up, but you don't have to brush your hair from the bottom up on a daily basis. Number two is always going to be getting a clip to section our hair. For me, section number one is usually everything from the top of my ears down. If you have thicker hair, this might be too much hair and you might need to take smaller sections. But if your hair's on the thinner, finer side, I find I kind of do one section, two sections, and then some smaller sections at the top of my head, and that works really well. But whatever works for you is what you should do. Because everyone always asks, the flat iron I'm using today, it's gonna be backwards in the camera, but is my Lange flat iron. I do have this one linked in my Amazon storefront. I really like it. It works really well. I've never had any problems with it. The only complaint I have is this one does not have automatic shut off, and my other flat irons, my Avanti has automatic shut off. So if I leave it on and plugged in, it's gonna turn off after 15 minutes. Which I do like that feature, and this does not have that. So if I left this on and plugged in, it would just stay on and burn my house down. But you shouldn't leave it plugged in anyways, even if it has automatic shut off. So that's my only complaint about this, is that it doesn't. But for the price point, it is actually a great flat iron. Because we're doing waves today, we're going to be using our flat iron vertically. We don't want to hold it horizontally, because if we hold it horizontally, the more horizontal it is, the more of a ringlet. And we're going for a longer, wavy kind of curl. So we want to hold it vertically, one way or the other. Whether it's upside down or right way up, doesn't really matter, just not horizontal to the head when we're doing it. If you are not well practiced at curling your hair with your flat iron, I suggest you take a few minutes before you begin to practice the motion while your flat iron is off and not hot. This way you're not having to worry about burning your hair or stalling in the middle, getting kinks and whatnot that are really hard to get out afterwards. And you're just going to save yourself a lot of frustration by practicing the motion while your flat iron's cold and then going in with it hot, because it all gets way harder once there's heat involved. We are going to heat protect every single section. This is the Firewall flat iron and shine spray. I love it because it's heat protection and it makes my hair shiny, and it is a super dry mist spray, so there's no waiting for it to dry before we go in with a flat iron. If you use a spray that makes your hair feel damp or slightly wet, then you need to wait for that section to completely dry before you apply heat. If it sizzles, it wasn't dry, and you're going to singe your hair. We are going for a loose wavy look, so I'm going to take quite large sections. I will say, if you're not very good at flat iron curling your hair, I would advise smaller sections. Smaller the section, the easier it's going to be to work with. The more hair you put in each section, the more challenging those sections are going to be. So in my opinion, if you struggle, it is worth it to take smaller sections and have the entire process take a little bit longer, but turn out really nice, than taking big chunky sections, getting fed up halfway through, and just putting your hair in a messy bun. So we're gonna start with our bottom sections here, and we are just gonna close our flat iron. We're gonna do a half turn. We're not gonna do all the way around. We're just gonna go from one side, and then this side's gonna flip over to that side. And then we're gonna drag it down, making sure that the hair does not slide out of the plaits down here or out of the ends. You wanna make sure the tail stays all the way through the plaits. Once you get to the bottom, you can either stop about an inch away from the bottom, leaving the bottoms straight, which is gonna give you a bit more of a messy, undone beachy wave, or you can curl all the way through the ends. It's gonna give your curl a little bit more of a finer finish, but it's gonna look a little more curly and a little less beachy. Totally your call. We're gonna leave the ends out today. I like when I close my flat iron to hold onto the tail, otherwise the hair can tend to slide its way up and out of the plaits in one direction or the other. But again, if something else works better for you, then you do that. So I just hold onto the tail, and I like to pull down at a moderate speed. And there is our first one. And I forgot to leave the ends out, so I'm just gonna flat iron the end because I do want the ends to be straight. Keep in mind, the slower you go when you create any curl, the more curly it's gonna be. The faster you go, the less curly it's gonna be. Half turn, slide it down, drop it before I get to the end. And then last one over here, making sure to keep that flat iron vertical. So we're getting those nice long curls. And there we go. And then we're just gonna go in for the next section. A lot of people ask me if they should curl towards their face or away from their face. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Curl in whatever direction is easiest for you to get the freaking curl in your hair. Let's start there. Once you get really good at it, you can start to play around with it. But there isn't a right or wrong answer there. Curling in towards your face is gonna look one way, and curling away from your face is gonna look a different way. And you're just gonna have a preference, I guess, of which way you like best. A lot of people do like to curl away from their face, but it still looks really nice to curl towards your face. It's just a little bit of a different look. One I wouldn't say looks better than the other. It's really up to personal preference, and I actually often curl towards my face. I do curl away from my face a lot, but when I want a really curly look, I actually prefer curling towards my face, or sometimes it's just easier for me to get the curl in, rotating my hand towards my, I just did that one towards my face. Just whatever happens is what I go with. I really don't even think about it. I just do whatever feels easiest in that moment to get that curl, especially when we're doing a kind of wavy, beachy, messy style like this, because the idea is not to get a perfect shape and curl. Oh God, these back ones, there we go. It is just to get some texture and movement in our hair to play with. When I do the sections on the top of my head, I like to start my curls really close to my scalp if I can. And what that's gonna do is give me more texture and volume up here as opposed to my hair being flat and then just wavy and curly down here. As always, you wanna make sure everything is completely cooled before you go in and shake out your hair. And once it is, you can shake your head, you can finger comb it, you can use a wide tooth comb, whatever works for you. And you're gonna have these really pretty, loose, beachy waves. And if you are looking for tips on how to make the texture last all day, then make sure you hit that notification bell, because I have a video coming up that will explain how I get my curls to last. And once that is out, I will put it up here as well. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. I hope that helps. I hope that you can get in there with your flat iron and maybe finally learn how to style your hair with it in different ways, because it is a really great and versatile tool. While wands and curling irons can sometimes be a little easier and less intimidating to use when it comes to curling your hair, the nice thing about a flat iron is that you can get all kinds of different shapes. You can get ringlets, loose curls, waves, all kinds of different shapes in your hair with one tool. So when you do learn to use it, it is super versatile and super universal and super handy. And it really isn't that hard once you get the hang of it. It is just a skill that is gonna take you a minute to practice and do. Just like anything, like riding a bike, like doing anything that you have to learn that is a new skill in life, it takes time. But if you stick with it and you practice, then you will get it and you will be so happy that you did, because there are just so many options available to you with a flat iron. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment letting me know what other videos you would like to see here on my channel. Thanks so much for watching today, guys.